when a Christian is meeting a Muslim, it's surprising how often the conversation turns to Jesus. Muslims are very intrigued about Jesus. And the questions come very often as we meet our Muslim friends to their intrigue about Jesus. Part of the intrigue about Jesus is that he is recognized as the peacemaker. I mean, all Muslims around the world, I suppose, believe Jesus was a peacemaker and is a peacemaker. And in times like these, there is remarkable interest in his peace in these difficult, challenging times. And so doors are open that often surprise us to bring to the table conversation concerning Jesus and his peace. I was in the office of the Grand Mufti of Egypt and was talking to him about the peace of Jesus. And as I was leaving his office, he said, "I have a message for all Christians in America. And this is my message. Follow Jesus. If you follow Jesus, you would transform the world for good." And I got to the door, opened it, ready to walk out in the hallway. I said, "Wait a minute. I'm serious. Don't forget. A report to the churches in America that the office of the Grand Mufti of Egypt has a very important message for you. Follow Jesus. For if you follow Jesus, you will transform the world for good." I'm serious. Good message. The leading Muslim authority in Egypt has a message for the churches in America. And I think the same message applies here in Switzerland as well. Follow Jesus. The most of our Muslim friends have absolutely no interest in the political agenda at all. They are here by invitation as refugees. They're so grateful. They're doing their best to find the way forward, and they have no interest in the political dimensions. They accept the separation of church and state, which is so much a part of Western culture, and certainly very much a part of U.S. culture. State is the state, the church is the church. They're separate. And as a Christian, I communicate that to Muslims very often, that I come from a Christian community that is deeply committed to separation of church and state. And we think that is a wise way to go. So it must be addressed. Yet the political agenda, how do we address the political agenda? I don't think it's helpful to ignore that is a dimension of the agenda of some Muslim communities as they take root in the West. That political activism does occasionally follow the coming of Muslim communities into our communities, this political activism. How do we deal with that? I think by engaging the Muslims in conversation, expressing our concerns, our counsel. And not just on the Muslim side, but on the Christian side as well. Some of the political activism we find in the States right now is cause for great concern about American political activism. So it's not just a concern in regards to Muslims, it's a concern on the Christian side as well. Concern that Christians may be abusing political power for their ends, for what they want. So it's a global. It's not just a Muslim Christian thing. But no, I think we need to be ready to converse and to drink tea and to talk and to find the way forward with a commitment to separation of church and state. I am very clear with Muslims that that is my conviction. We in our community in Pennsylvania, part of our team go to the mosque occasionally on Fridays. They're friends of the imam. We want to develop those relationships. We sit in the back. We don't join in the prayers, but we sit in the back, hear what the sermon is about, then have a cup of tea with the imam and comment about the worship service. Maybe we have some questions. And on one occasion, our team had very great concern about the content of the Friday sermon, which was a very militant sermon. And so our team took the imam aside, requested a cup of tea, and said, that sermon is a problem. And we're very concerned. You need to work in a way that encourages civil society to flourish. That's your job as an imam. You should do that. And when you start preaching militant sermons against those that you may disagree with, that is not a good way to go if we're concerned about civil society. And we're just very concerned. He said, never before has anyone ever spoken to me about the content of a sermon and criticized it. Never. And your critique of my sermon, I take it very, very seriously. And I thank you. And I pledge I will never preach a sermon like that again. Thank you. Shook hands. Commitment. I talked about the three journeys, The journey to Medina is a political journey, where the establishment of the House of Islam happens as a result of that journey, And so it shouldn't surprise us when the Muslim community, when members of the Muslim community are impressed with that approach. So what is the step forward with regard to that? Again, seriously, it is to engage in the conversation around a cup of tea. We need to proactively engage that stream